Hey, sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to the B-Ball Breakdown live show coming at you on a Monday morning as always, or afternoon if you're on the East Coast. And I'm joined as always by Andrew Combo Sal to discuss the latest and the greatest in the NBA. Combo, how are you doing, my man?
Doing well, man.
Look at that. Wow. Guns. The guns are blazing on a Monday. Starting the week off right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ran some hill sprints this morning. I'm feeling good, man.
Hill sprints? What? There's no hills in New York.
Yeah, I was by my mom's house. There's some hills in Riverdale in the Bronx, but there's also some hills in Astoria Park, right by where I live. Yeah, I'm giving away too much information. Go ahead.
Listen, it's up to you how much you want to reveal to the fans and how much
they know where I'm at now. They know.
I'm just thinking, like, that movie Joker when he's on the steps, like that's where you should go and run.
Oh, that's the Bronx. That's not far. That's not far. Yep.
All right, cool. Well, next time I'm in town, if we can do it, we'll have to get a picture on those steps. I like that.
Let's do it. We actually have a picture at the bodega.
At the bodega. Why the bodega? Well, I don't even know.
Bodega is like the thing in New York. It's like the thing to do. It's not the thing to do. It's just super convenient. You go to the bodega.
Right. All right. Well, if you're lucky, then pretty soon all the bodegas will be free for you, right?
I don't know. You're talking. Maybe is that part of your other podcast you do? Because I don't know.
Yes. Are you unaware that the new mayor, the mayor to be actually tomorrow, I think, wants to make food cheaper for people. So hey, can't complain about that.
Free. Anyway, that's interesting.
Welcome everybody to the show. We got lots to talk about. We want to hear from you as well. The best way we usually do this is by on the YouTube side. If you do a super chat, we'll put your question on the screen and give you all sorts of hype and love and thanks. It really helps the show keep going. So that's a great way to do it. Otherwise, see if you can. If you want to come over to playback, we have a nice private chat on the playback side, which we'll also be doing very, very soon. Some live watch parties. I've got my eyes on a couple of different ones coming up, so stay tuned for that. It's a really cool hangout where we're watching the game, and if you have your league pass or your whatever, we're all with the games on the screen with us, little talking heads, fun times. Let's talk a little about the Bulls. The Bulls, the shocking Bulls. I mean, if you had your way, would you have had them being 5-0 before that first loss on your bingo card to start the season?
No, absolutely not. But I think Billy Donovan is a great coach. I think a lot of people were skeptical about the Bulls re-signing him, but I believe he's one of the better coaches in the NBA, and that's why he got extended in another contract. And then you have some really good young players. Matas Buzelis, who was my rookie of the year pick a couple years back. I said that at Summer League. I think the year before we did a show, I thought he'd be the rookie of the year, but then he just didn't get enough opportunity in the first half of the season. Now he's getting opportunity. He improved. He's a great defensive player. The shooting's get better. The shooting has gotten better. He got great feel on both sides and great size. I love his game. Kobe White has had a resurgence over the past couple of years. And you got to love that the way they're playing really fast. And I think some of the better teams in the NBA happen to be playing really fast. They pop off the screen like the Bulls, like the Sixers, like the Heat.
It's interesting to talk about, screens because, they're I think leading the league up there with screening opportunities, which is interesting to me because it's not always a really common way of attacking. So anyway, but Buzelis, the other thing, I don't know if you mentioned, he's like a human highlight film. That's the thing. Like if you're not paying attention, he's going to dunk on you, and he's going to dunk on more than one.
I try to dig deeper into the things that the people aren't thinking about.
Yeah. So, so why are they so surprised? It's interesting. Well, first of all, when a team goes 5-0 to start the season, you kind of peek at the schedule first, to find out, okay, what is this? It's legit, or are they just kind of beating up on an easy stretch of the schedule? Let's go through it, shall we? They opening night, they beat the Pistons at home. Okay, Pistons. We don't know exactly what the Pistons have just yet. Then they went on the road and beat the Magic, who are not. I would have thought the Magic would be better at this point than they are right now. The Magic are. They are. I can't even find them. Why am I'm having a problem on this thing? Oh, here they are, 10th, 3-4. So they've been a little bit of a disappointment, haven't kind of fired with Banchero and Franz just quite yet. So they caught them perhaps at a good time. I suspect that they're going to get better, right, at that point. Of course, now where did my tab go? Okay, then they beat the Hawks. Hawks are also a little bit disappointing this year, but they beat them at home. Then they beat the Kings at home, and the Kings with new coach. Yeah, I'm not so sure. New Russ. Don't know what that's going to happen. So that might not be a huge notch. But then they beat the Knicks at home, and then lost to the Knicks on the road. So I don't know. I don't know how illuminating that is. How do you feel? Does that give you any indication that they're going to be able to beat good teams?
It gives me indication that they're going to be just around 500 like they've always been. But with that said, I think it's also true that their future is brighter than it has been in the past.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to like dominate the East or even be a great seed in the playoffs. But I do think that they are trending in the right direction when it comes to the overall projection of their franchise.
Okay. Yeah. And we might as well say Kobe White hasn't been playing this year, but whatever. Anyway, we'll have to see what happens with that. But yes, there is some interesting things. And the most surprising thing of all, okay, the most surprising thing is clearly Josh Giddy shooting over 40% from three. Now, this is a guy who has zero gravity. It's embarrassing. And you look at all of his threes. I went through them. I'm like, how is this possible? He's got 2 air balls and another one that like it didn't even hit the side of the backboard like as an air ball to the so far off to the right on a catch and shoot or something. I think it was catch and shoot. I'm like, how is this possible? So I'm willing to risk my reputation on just saying he will not finish the year at 40% or over on 3-point shooting.
Okay.
Now, if you're looking at how he's doing it, you break it out. He's shooting, 30% or a little less, maybe on off the dribble, and he's shooting 47 on catch and shoot. So that's really what's going on. Now, you watch his 2-motion shot. Okay, this is even if it was 1960, they might look at it kind of funny too, because he literally loads it at the set point for the longest of pauses and just pushes it like a chest pass almost, hoping that maybe he can synchronize the knees straightening up with the release. And there's no question in my mind you do that and you're not going to be consistent. And, now Horford kind of does it over the head with a 2-motion like that. Doesn't take ones that are
his teammate Vucevic.
What's that?
His teammate Vucevic has the 2-motion.
He does it the same way too. Yeah. And now there could be something to the fact that like they're 6'10", 6'11", 7 feet, whatever. Like there might be something to that too. Not only just from like being a taller guy where he can continue to see over the defense, but also the angle, right? Is with those extra 6 inches or so. So that's something. But the bottom line is it just to be able to synchronize that release properly, especially when a defense does kind of get a hand up. That's when you see those really bad misses, is because it's really easy to muck with that when you get a little bit of pressure on you. And he's using his arm to propel the ball. And when I coach shooting, I don't want the arm to be imparting the power onto it, right? I want that to be, in charge of keeping it straight. And so and then also when you load it like that, it's really hard to get distance. It's hard to get power. And so you can see him struggling to find power, and they're all short when they're short, like way short. Mm-hmm. So anyway, but as of now, they've been benefiting, immensely off of these threes. These games have been close, a lot of them. So it's like those threes are really been helping them get wins.
Yeah, they're looking like they have a bright future. Pat Williams is playing better than he has been. It's been tough for him at times. So we'll see. It was an impressive win versus the Knicks. The Knicks, man, they did look bad that night though. The cup game actually. Yeah, but they did better last night.
Yeah, I never got the Patrick Williams hype, even from the very beginning. All my friends who are Bulls fans were so excited. I'm like, yeah, I just don't really see it. And I think he's just, the guy who's going to play a little bit and grab a couple boards, put the ball in the basket a little bit, but nothing.
He always had a little mid-range game.
A little bit, yeah. But, I don't know. He'll get his 20 minutes, and that's fine. Trey Jones is out there. We always liked his game. The Jones family, whoever, raised them, did a good job as basketball coaches. So that's always, that helps, but I don't know. I don't really have, I think this is, obviously winning 5 of 6 is going to be like the high point of their season. I think they're going to, like you said, they've been around 500 for several years now. And I don't think that they're going to get any better than that. I don't, you know what I mean?
So who out of the hot starts impresses you the most? The Rockets, how many losses do they have? They don't have a lot of losses, right?
They're killing everybody too. Let me look at the standings.
By the way, they have the best offensive rating in the league.
Yeah, but they're 3-2, so they lost the first 2 games, and now they've beaten up on some really bad teams. So don't again, that's a schedule thing, right? If you want to hear it, I looked it up earlier today because I was wondering their offensive rating is like through the roof. It's insane, and I was like, how is that? How 3-2? And when you really dig deep into it, you realize that scheduling wise, after the first, they lost to OKC in double overtime, a great game. Then they lost to the Pistons, and then they beat the Nets, the Raptors, and the Celtics. So and they're going to play Dallas. They're going to play Memphis. And then they get to the Spurs and the Bucks. So we're going to have a little bit closer sense of what's going on Friday and Sunday to see what's going on with them. So we have to reserve a lot of our judgment, I think, right, until we get a little more data. But as of now, they've been lighting it up again. I mean, the Nets, the Nets are going to give up a lot of points. I think it's safe to say.
Tank year for the Nets.
Yeah. And, now it's interesting because the Pelicans are sort of involved with all this too, because they had traded away one of their picks.
They haven't got a win yet.
They haven't gotten a win. It's weird. They thought that they were going to be good, and they traded away their first round pick to get Indiana's pick. I'm sorry. They traded Indiana's pick back to them to get the pick this year. So so Indiana got their own pick back for next season. Right.
Okay.
And they did that in the finals, thinking, oh, that pick next summer is going to, be 29th or 30th. Right. They'll be in the, because they're in the finals, and then it'll be good again. And then it turns out that, Tyrese Halliburton gets injured. They're now not nearly as good, and they're all broken down injured anyway. But it's conceivable that's going to be a really good pick, and they gave it away without any protections. The Pelicans did. So that's going to really hurt them. Let's get to our first super chat. We got Stinky Dipey. Thanks. Good to see you out here, Stinky. But let me get it up on the screen here. Is it that? Nope. It is this one. Okay. Thoughts on the Knicks so far? Still a pretender. So
you want to hear my thoughts on it? You want to hear my thoughts on it, Coach Nick?
I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, they're a pretender. And unfortunately, I had them winning the championship before the season. I said it on New York Post Sports. Shouts to Dexter Henry. But thinking about Cat and Brunson on defense as your duo, as two guys you got to play major minutes in the playoffs, I don't think they could get to a level, even with Mikal and OG and Mitch, that you could win a championship with. So defensively, it's really concerning. And then there are some adjustments on the offensive side that aren't seamless yet. So, no, I think they're pretenders, and I think the Denver Nuggets now. I changed my prediction. The Denver Nuggets will win the NBA championship.
Wow. Okay. That's whiplash. Now, I agree. There's something going on with the Knicks. You got to be careful because Cat is a guy, it's got to be in a perfect situation for him to really excel. And then you get some sort of strife going on, and he could kind of descend into madness quickly. So I will say this. I went through the game. I think it was the first game that when they lost to the Bulls, and I was looking at their offense to see, and guess what? They were suddenly running a lot more two-man game with Cat and Brunson. I was like, great. Like they're trying this. They're trying to figure that out. I got to go through it more to see if they finally once and for all got rid of the Mitchell Robinson high post touches, because that was just a nightmare. But that was encouraging. They're trying to do some stuff. I know they were trying to tout like he hadn't called the play, so he's trying to let them just go. And I suppose that juxtaposition is that Tibbs was calling a lot of plays. Okay. And so when you go from that to like being really free form, it could be frustrating for a lot of players who don't they're not getting touches all of a sudden. It could even be Jalen Brunson feeling that way. I know he's kind of drifting to the corner a little bit and watching a lot more than he would normally be doing. And then he'll say, well, F this, I get the ball in my hand. Then he goes on a 6 or 7 possession straight run where he's just dominating again. So it's a little bit back and forth. And I don't know if they found that
he's getting some tough buckets where he's playing 1-on-3 in transition and just almost bullying himself to the hole, even though he's scoring. But he is also averaging close to 30 this year. So I mean, it hasn't really brought down his PPG. Yeah,
I'm actually curious to see how that. I mean, again, it's
what's his PPG?
Well, first I want to see really quickly what the Knicks offensive rating is as a team, because and again, it's their 11th right now, but it's hard to kind of adjust this after only 6-7 games. It's not enough data. But it's not bad. 116 offensive rating is something that's, you're not too concerned about the scoring part of it. Now, I'm just kind of curious where they are defensively. They're 16th at 115, so their net rating is barely 1 point. So they're not, they're struggling, with these teams. So, but it's natural to assume that. But I'm just kind of worried. I feel like there's a little bit of buzz around the team, a little bit of frustration already. So you got to be worried about that around Mike Brown and how he's going to manage that as well. So that's going to be an interesting with the pressure mounting. We'll have to kind of revisit that, I think, after how many games? We're going to say we'll give him 20.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess that's for every team, right? Everything's a little bit of an overreaction at this point.
Yeah. I mean, again, not every team has a new coach and then his integrated.
That's true too. That's true too. He is averaging 31, by the way. So, I mean, even with the new role, he's still getting his buckets.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. And it's interesting because the new role indicated that he'd have less touches and he'd have less usage, and yet he's still getting past that. And that 30, well, he wasn't close to 30 last year, wasn't he?
No, no. I think it was more like 26, I would say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's only one way to find out. Let's see here. He averaged, because I can't, unfortunately, for the people listening, I don't have Jalen Brunson's point per game average from last year in my head, but it was 26 even.
I guess Combo did. Go ahead though.
Per game. So yeah, but so again, we're in that weird flux time where it's like it's hard to really know exactly what is going on out there. And then, hey, thanks, Maura Sullivan, 529. Great to see you as well. They've been in the conversation since 2018. Wow. Anybody been in the conversation longer than that? I'm kind of curious in the chat. Make me feel a little old, I suppose. 2018. We've been doing this show for two years.
Longer, Coach Nick.
3 years?
Stop.
3 years.
Yeah, it's more than 3 years.
Is it more?
Yeah.
All right. You know what I got to do?
Go back and find out.
Go with over the years have all gone on and even bigger and greater things. As I'm sure you will too. I should have everybody all back to one pod. Jared Weiss, Dave Dufour. I'm forgetting at least one other person. Oh boy,
I know who it is. He's actually a friend of mine, but it's slipping my mind too.
Anyway, what is time? That'd be a fun show. Kind of bring everybody back together. Anyhow, all right. So that kind of puts, I think, a bow in what we're talking about, at least for the Bulls. Again, although the thing that I like that Giddy is also doing, he's getting those threes, but he doesn't have gravity. Will probably not have gravity, no matter if he continues to shoot well. But he is cutting to the basket really nicely, and they're finding him. So he's able to have a good feel for that. Where he's in the corners, and they get drives and they cut. That's the only issue. I feel like, when you have a player who's really like they can ignore like that and dare him to shoot, it does make it harder on everybody else, and even almost could be distraction. So, one day somebody will be able to help Giddy unlock better rhythm and more consistent shooting.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that, Josh Hart's another guy.
He's hurt. Got
he has
nerve problems, whatever. He's, it sounds like that's a brutal one.
He doesn't have confidence in his shot right now.
There's a picture of Josh Hart on the bench, kind of like sulking or whatever. It looked really kind of sad. He's just frustrated. And so, keep your eye on that whole situation and how Mike Brown manages it. Because I think there's probably some work to do there, psyche wise.
In terms of Josh Hart's psyche?
I think in this team.
You think the Knicks vibes are bad right now?
I'm worried that it's close. It's in that realm here.
Why are you worried about that?
Right now. Cat is scoring at 18 points a game.
Let's dig deeper. Why are you worried about that?
Well, because, in a pressure cooker like New York and things don't quite go well to start the season, you got guys like Cat and guys who are intense, right? Who are emotional. It could build, and we got to see if Mike Brown, can manage all that. There's no question that Cat is frustrated. It's his career low in points per game right now, 18.3. That's what he was as a rookie. That's his lowest, but yeah, and exactly when he was rookie of the year. So that's got to be a concern for everybody. I'm sure Cat is frustrated, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, he even said, actually, Christian Winfield asked him, "What do you feel like your role is in this offense?" And he said he doesn't know, not verbatim, but that's basically what he said.
Yeah, right. It's weird because I haven't looked the last couple of games, but I got to check. When you keep seeing Mitchell Robinson take the role that Cat should be in, it's like if I was Cat, I'm like, why is that happening? And then they also do the weird thing where they swing the ball from guard to guard and then set a ball screen. And Robinson is so slow getting up there. So the guy catches the ball, just has to wait like 2 or 3 seconds until the ball screen gets there. It should be faster than that. I don't know why they can't sort of fix that. And if it's not supposed to be that way, then I don't know why you want to run an offense where you have to throw the ball and you have to have a wait for 3 seconds till pick is set. It's weird. So that needs to be fixed or get rid of that action and then go into something else.
Yeah.
We could kind of transition to the Heat offense because did you happen to see on the Amazon Prime basketball court, they had Bam go through their offense. Did you see that?
No, tell me more.
Oh, it's fascinating. Him and Norman Powell, I think that was it. Those two guys were out there.
Bam actually had a good game versus Wemby the other night, right?
Yeah. And Wemby did not have a good game. I think this last game, but that was the Heat, I think. Yeah. So they basically got on the court. They had Udonis Haslem with them too, and they got another couple people, and they were literally walked through their offense, the concepts, how it works, because the reporting now is that they're not setting hardly any ball screens. It's all sort of space and cutting and movement, and that's all well and good, but the only times you ever see like off ball screens is on out of bounds play, basically, or maybe off of a break in the action timeout, where they can set up a play. And so I just get worried about that, because another thing is you don't really see high post touches. And about me, I'm all about high post or even low post touches. You don't really see any of that. It's all perimeter, and it's all like you have to create, one person creates the advantage, and then they try and get it all going downhill from there. And I don't know. To me, a team offense should be like working together to create that advantage, and then don't let up until you get the good shot.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you must like players who are a hub, like Chris Webber.
Vlade.
Even Sabonis. I mean, Jokic is super that, right? He's super that.
Jokic, Vlade.
Yeah.
But it's the offense itself too that like they
you also, which is interesting. You also need a player with that skill set, though, which the Knicks don't have. I guess we're talking about the Heat now. The Heat have Bam, but the Knicks don't have one of those guys.
They do.
Who?
Cat.
He is not the passer like a Jokic, like even like a Şengün, like a Weber.
I'm not going to take Cat passing slander on this show. The guy could pass. All right. I have to create an edit for you.
All right. I don't think it's a weakness of him, but to be a hub, I don't know.
I think he can. Well, certainly you don't want Mitchell Robinson doing it, and you need to give him a lot of opportunities to do that. I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've seen him make passes, great elbow stuff, entry, all sorts of stuff. He's good at that. Certainly he's better at that than like anybody else. And if he's not getting enough, he should be getting 8 or 9 of those touches there, and then a chance to score out of that too. So
that you think that's the best way to use the Knicks is going through Cat in the high post.
I think it'd be I think that should be like the second option or third option.
Well, when you're a hub, you're almost
letting Brunson go.
When you're a hub, you're kind of like the first option because you dictate where things will go, even though it might not end with you.
Yeah, well, okay, it doesn't have to be the primary action. Like for instance, with Jokic, it kind of is, right? Jokic gets that high post a ton, and they run everything as they should. It's great. Listen, I work with kids on the weekends, and it's not a team; it's like AU and development program, and I tell you, I teach them how to do a little high post action, and then they go out live, and it looks like the Princeton offense they haven't played together. They haven't run on. I haven't worked with them for a month and installing an offense. And yet the basic principles of when you get the ball to the elbow are so powerful against the defense that you just have to pass it there. And then all of a sudden things materialize. And so I get frustrated when I see teams that don't utilize that. And there's a lot of teams don't, right? The Warriors do a good job of that. I think the Jazz actually do. And at some point, we got to talk about Lauri Markkanen. I got to get some more eyeballs on him because he's lighting it up. We have, the Knicks are doing it, but we need more of that, I think, across the board. And that's why it's like when I'm watching the Heat run their offense they're not doing a lot of ball screens. They're not doing a lot of off-ball screens. They're not doing a lot of high post entry. Those are the big ones for me when you're trying to gain an advantage on the defense. So now what is it? It is, okay, double gap, which tends to mean overload on the weak side, have more players there to give the guy with the ball more space around him, Mm-hmm. So a single gap would be like a teammate 1 pass away. A double gap would be the teammates are 2 passes away or farther. The problem with that is, okay, great. Now you're going to let the Baylor guard, oh my goodness, guard from Baylor, who I love,
what team?
What the hell?
What team?
The Heat, finally getting a chance, and he's great, and they won a title. God darn it.
We play with the Raptors, Davion Mitchell.
Now it's him going tween cross and trying to get in the middle, and then like up in the air to try and make a pass, and then throws it away because on the weak side, because they're all bunched up to give him more space, then the defense can load up to the ball. It's a little it's weird, in a way where. And by the way, here's the thing I want to do the video on tomorrow, unless I do the John Morant video first. Thank you, Martin, Jose. I sometimes my brain, it must be COVID. Cat cannot defend. I don't know. Did someone say he could? In the comments. I'm not going to argue that he can. But anyway, the point being is that this reminds me of something else. Let's get back to the point, which is the Heat offense. This reminds me of the Heat offense from 2012.
Right.
Can you remember that back then, Combo? Were you too young?
No, I wasn't too young. The Heat offense in 2012. Who was on that team? LeBron
That
James.
was
I
Mario
was
Chalmers.
I was overseas, so some of that was blurry.
So I remember. Well, here's what I remember being really mystified about: is the member of the team they had LeBron, they had Chris Bosh, and they had Dwayne Wade, right? The Heatles, and then everybody else, and yet consistently you end up seeing Mario Chalmers trying to drive and kick. And I was like, this is amazing. Why would you ever do this? You know, when you have the other three guys who could create for Mario Chalmers to be the catch and shoot guy or the spot up guy or whatever. It was very, very strange. But I have a feeling when I dig into that footage, which I will, we are going to see almost the same concepts they're running now, which was 5-out spread, right? You're going to try and create an advantage, and then you're going to kick it and whatever. That was exactly what they did. Now, it might not be the same exact spacing, but I never really understood it then. You know, it's like, why wouldn't you be running a ball screen for LeBron with Chris Bosh and then Dwayne Wade off of that as well in a 3-man game? It was startling.
How do you feel about the clip with Lamar Odom that's been getting shared around where he's like, basically he's saying it makes no sense because you give your best player the ball and it ends up in the hands of one of your worst players?
Well,
have you seen that? First of all, have you seen that clip?
I don't know that clip, but
okay.
You know, you want to be able to utilize the gravity of your stars to open up easy shots for your other players, right?
Right.
So that's the idea. So if it ends up in the hands of the guy in a catch and shoot situation where he's open, that's what you want. That's great, you know. Now the modern NBA is now allowed guys who used to just only be allowed to catch and shoot. They can now dribble, right? Because they can, right? The dribbling, you know, the JJ Redicks and the Kyle Korvers, they weren't allowed to dribble, basically, right? And for JJ, for good reason. No offense, JJ, but you know, we had that JJ rule where he can't dribble more than once, or else he's got to stop. It was just a real uncanny thing for him, unfortunately. And so you know your strengths. But now, you know, Duncan Robinson is the kind of guy that would be the same kind of guy, but now he can handle the ball and he can pass a little bit too. It's like they expanded that role. So I don't know. I think that that Odom might be kind of stuck in the past a little bit on that one. To some degree, but you know, the idea for me is it's like, why are you going to let Mario Chalmers, you know, tween cross, bound to back, spin, you know, try and get in the lane, do all that stuff? That's not really what he's good at. Let the other guys put incredible pressure on the defense and compact them, and then spray out the ball to those guys to then do their thing with space. Let's get to our next super chat. We got Endgame here.
I'm trying to find that clip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Endgame. Thank you so much, Endgame. Really great to have you on the show and be really generous of you. Been watching this around 2010. Oh, my goodness. Knicks looked pretty good versus the Bulls last night. My only concern with the team is depth at center and power forward. We'll need to see more games. Yes, Cat can pass combo. There you go. It's hard when that thing is scrolling across to keep up. I guess I can read it on the side. So, yeah, I mean, the Bulls are really thin. They really don't have a deep team.
Wait. Did I just catch a stray?
You did. Cat can pass combo.
Oh, I thought he meant like if I'm guarding Cat could go past me.
Right. No, we're missing an Oxford comma, but nonetheless, a combo. But Cat can pass, man. I know I've done like maybe in a video about it too at some point in my brain. And so anyway, here's what's weird is Endgame says he's been watching since 2010. That means he's been watching since the absolute beginning, right? I started in 2010, 15 years ago. Crazy. But it's also a testament to working for yourself, right? If I had gotten the job working for ESPN, I can guarantee you if it was in 2010, I would long. Like Zach Lowe didn't last at ESPN, right?
It's interesting. Yeah, I guess the kind of the model is to go to ESPN and then to bring the audience you gain from ESPN back to your own platform.
Yeah, or build your platform. You can go to ESPN and then come back, but you got to make sure you can maintain that platform. So, like, quick pro tip: like, if you get hired by ESPN, like on Twitter, for instance, don't put ESPN in your handle, you know, because chances are you're not going to be at ESPN at some point later. Just have your own brand be who you are, and let that be what you want.
Well, I guess that's life advice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So don't build your brand around like a company that you're beholden to that can fire you at any time they want to. That's not a good idea. But at any rate, yeah, so that's my pro tip for that. Always build your brand around yourself. So the question is my brand Coach Nick or is it B-Ball Breakdown? Interesting.
Shouts to, you know, I have no problems with overtime, but all their guys are overtime, whatever their name is.
Really? And if they make them do it, then that's suboptimal. I wouldn't agree to it.
Yeah. I don't know if they make them.
let's go to the Drew Show. We haven't seen the Drew Show in a while, but always great to see you here. Although I don't know why there's all these numbers after your name. It's just a weird thing with playback that they add numbers. Like, it makes it look like a bot. But that's got to be the Drew Show. It's the same icon that he's using. So awesome. So great to see you, Drew. Really, really, really. I watched the first 2:45 of the Spurs-Suns game. Oh, yeah, this was the Wemby game where he didn't do well. Score 2-3. So many missed open long shots. God, I hate this NBA. I don't remember this in the 80s. Stop the madness. Stop the analytics. Stop the nerds. Nerds.
Can you paraphrase that for me, Coach Nick?
Yeah. So basically, he, in the first 3 minutes of the game, it was like no one could score because they're just jacking up long shots. And I that's the worst of the modern NBA, without question. Drew is right. When we go back and forth and have like 4 possessions in a row of missed threes, it leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth, even though like you'd hope that the threes were like even decent shots. But you know what? What's the percentage? What's the likelihood of an open three going in?
It depends on I'd say 40.
Yeah, even if it's 40 something, right?
Yeah,
so you're going to miss more than you're going to make, even though when they're wide open, good shots. And so the likelihood then of getting into these ruts, 4 out of 5 possessions are all just missed threes. Yeah, that's not great. Now, that said, if you watch the old NBA, you might see a similar thing with like long twos, but maybe they got a couple extra offensive rebounds in there too and put them back or whatever. Like that changed stuff too. So that's an interesting combination I hadn't really even thought about in terms of the offensive rebounding might have mitigated some of the long two misses. Oh, wow. Because there was more of a focus on offensive rebounding. What if that ends up being a thing where they totally got it all wrong? I don't know if anyone's looked at the mid-range shot because it's all bad, right? No one takes mid-range. But what if it turns out, I don't know if they looked at this, that when you shot some of those mid-range, you got offensive rebounds. Obviously they did, right? And if you put them back and then you kind of counted that as part of the play, like, I know a mid-range shot and offensive rebound are 2 separate plays, but what if it's kind of related in a way?
I mean, they used to teach you that to follow your own shot, but I don't know.
Your own shot too, right? They don't do that.
Larry Bird was pretty good at that, actually.
Yeah. So what if because like it's the same thing with the post up, right? When Synergy first came out and they started charting post ups and the points per possession, they didn't include if the guy missed the nice move and then grabbed it and put it right back in again, which I would think you should because the move is what got you right to the front of the rim. It's and when you added those putbacks in, it actually made the post up into a 1.1 or like 1.2 points per possession, which is like elite. Great. You should keep doing that. But because they didn't do that and everyone just sort of accepted it, within a few years, the post-up went away, basically, right? Like they were gone away from it. And then we have Blake Griffin. I don't want to give too many strays to Blake Griffin because I love him. But his post-ups, his footwork was so wild. Do you remember? He would like end up jumping with his back from the basket into the air and try and twist and shoot a post-up shot. It was crazy.
So I was just on set with Blake Griffin, actually. That guy, I mean, I've played like overseas with like 6, 7 NBA guys on my team. Like, that's a big dude, bro.
Yeah.
That's a big dude.
And the nicest dude probably ever come across.
Yeah, he is. And he's a pro for sure. He's a professional. Yeah.
So, and he's doing awesome stuff right now. I mean, he's the guy who called out Ja, which we're gonna probably finish the show with. Which was
like if you're that size and athleticism, it's hard to not be a pro athlete, I think. Like I think your chances raise substantially.
Yeah, I mean, but the raw power. I mean, the fact that Pau Gasol continued to play in the NBA after what he did to him, like, listen, credit to Pau for coming back and not being so demoralized that he should just retire. But the stuff he was doing to guys, it was. I mean, and social media was around, Twitter was around, but I feel like it's different, and like he would have been even bigger back then. Although he was big, it was a big, and he was hilarious in all the commercials. So I would love to hang out with that guy. But I will say that his post ups were a bit suboptimal. And
how do you feel about that one Pistons season he had when he was kind of like playing like point forward?
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, it was kind of rough because you could see how in pain he was, to move. But it was fun to watch and see him, win games and like, have that impact again. So that's rough. It's just, injuries, man. The guy like that.
You think the Clippers could have? I guess they had Chris Paul, so you couldn't have. Do you think the Clippers could have optimized like more of a Point Blake type situation?
What was the ceiling for that Clippers team ultimately? It might have probably been what they did, although they didn't get to the conference finals, right? Or they maybe get it. Did they get it once and then they lost to the Rockets, came back, or was that the semifinals? When you had DeAndre Jordan, it's a little bit of an issue. Although they ended up overcoming, they beat the Spurs in 7 games in that first round when they were trying to hack at DeAndre. But I feel like that could be an issue where when you want to get to like the finals, you can't have a guy who's, so bad at the free throw line, and it just mucks up the game like that. But so the question was, like, was that their ceiling, or was there another thing? Chris Paul is the gold standard for point guards, but he also would have meltdowns and do weird stuff and kind of like just sort of like, I'm done, game's over, I'm giving up, kind of weird stuff. I can think about the Memphis series at least once he did that, and so I don't know. It's interesting. And then you had Doc as the coach, which is also part of the ceiling. So they might have been. I think maybe when all is said and done, like they were able to maximize exactly what they had. And the only question was, could they have sort of fixed what they had? Could they have fixed coaching better? Maybe. Could they have upgraded the roster a little bit on the edges there? Maybe, and then that would have changed some things. But maybe they don't need. They shouldn't hang.
Hard.
Like they probably maxed out.
It's hard to like stay fluid and play positionless basketball when you have a pure PG, like a very pure PG like Chris Paul.
It's hard. It's hard to
play positionless basketball when you have a set PG.
Right. PG is going to want to have the ball in his hands more than that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. I mean, I don't. Maybe, but I think PG could.
I mean, you don't really want Chris Paul off the ball too much,
right? But you could have Chris Paul and another guy like. I think Chris Paul would know how to to balance.
Like, it's not like how Kyrie was the perfect fit next to LeBron with those Cleveland years, right? Because he could play off the ball, he could play on the ball. Like, Chris Paul is more like on the ball type player.
Yeah, but Blake Griffin was kind of doing it too, and they were running it through him as well. I thought they found a decent balance, but it's tough, man. That Western Conference has been just brutal the whole time. So it's hard, it's hard to fault guys for not quite getting all the way there, but they definitely they could have gotten farther than with that team. So let's go back and say they should have had at least another Western Conference Finals appearance, at least one of those. I mean, listen, Dame Lillard was able to drag that, him and CJ and DeMarcus, oh my God, no, Aldridge. Those guys had 2 Western Conference Finals. That's amazing, and that's the kind of what you're looking for in terms of a team. The Drew Show, another one. Thank you so much. And by the way, it's the same number. I don't know what that number is after his name. 4753. Anyway, fast breaking, open mid range b-ball, please. Well, we certainly have fast breaking still, so you got that. That's nice, But an open mid range. When I coach the kids now, it's like we always telling them we don't want mid range, but I'm like, we want open mid range. That's fine. Take those. They're not always open either. That's the other problem. And so then they say take those. Drives me nuts. And then here, Drew's got one more. Man, he's on fire today. To sum up, why is good to great gone to be open under the basket? Good, great 3. Why is good to great gone? What does that mean to be open?
Oh, I get it. Because he feels like somebody will take a good shot instead of making the extra pass to get a great shot. But I think part of the sentiment in the NBA why they do that is because if you get a good shot early and you pass that up, it's more likely for a turnover, or you might not even ever get another great shot as good as the first look you got. I think that's why, early offense is kind of like a thing in the NBA.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
I think so. I mean, I get it. I mean, like but is there like an aesthetic thing about mid range that people are missing that they want to see again? Like, because those are like the dribble pull-ups, you hanging in the air a little bit.
I mean, dribble pull-ups is okay. The thing that isn't optimal is the spot up mid-range.
Because
you need the dribble pull-ups.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, by the way, that's interesting. So the spot up mid-range
is gone.
Never good then, is what we're saying.
Well, I think we're seeing that with the evolution of the game. Like, I think we've learned it's not most optimal.
You're right. I haven't even put it in that in terms of like the catch and shoot mid range is like that's what you don't ever want, right? Because
I mean, Charles Oakley was pretty good at that, but he wouldn't be shooting that. He wouldn't be shooting that in today's NBA.
Right. Talk about 2 motion hang in the air.
He used to make those though. He used to make that mid range.
Listen, I know. I mean, he was starting to do it with the Bulls before they traded him for Cartwright, so I was all over that. But he would like, and it was right here, and then he'd go.
Hey man, he had a lot.
Yeah, he hit that 19-footer.
Yeah, he was valuable in a a lot of ways, Charles Oakley. Yeah.
All right. So, and then there's another one. Oh, we got one from DJ 9905. I think that maybe they're adding these weird numbers, maybe not. Combo, you got to get Coach on one of these one super fan versus haters videos. Those are absolute cinema. Laugh out loud. Guess what? Your wish is my command, DJ. That is why I'm going to New York next Friday to shoot one of these things. So you have to stay tuned. Combo, I don't think he's going to end up. We're not going to sneak him into the crowd. We might see if we can do that, make that happen, Combo. But are you available? We'll have to find out.
Yeah.
I demand that Combo has to be in one of the guys, one of the hater. You're a hater, right?
The thing is, I just was on a show where I defended James Harden as the most unstoppable player in NBA history. They did like a bracket. So,
okay. Well, we want you to be
check that.
Yeah,
check that out on House of Highlights, which is out right now.
Yeah, so check out House of Highlights. I don't know, they'll air it soon afterwards, but I'll be on that as the guy in the hot seat and have to deal with all the haters of Harden. And you know what's poetic about that was I was the first guy to have to explain to people why that step back wasn't the travel. You can go back and look. That was me and Ronnie Nunn, like the ex-NBA ref, like breaking down the footwork and explaining this is actually genius. Like somebody sat down and looked at the rules and say, you know what? So, my point about the rules and how the referees called the game in the past is interesting because when you go through the rule books, like I think I made this point before. I want to make it clear. When you go through the rule books, you see they would call a carry when a guy did a crossover. And back in the day, it was clear from everybody that the reason why they called it was because the hand was not on top of the ball. It went to the side of the ball because that's kind of how you have to make a crossover, right? Combo, can you really do a good crossover with the hand on top of the ball? It's hard. You kind of have to like
that. I mean, that's what they were trying to do like in the 60s.
Yeah. So really do it, you have to have the side of the ball. So I look back at, here, like I have rule books. Here's one from 28, 29. Is this the right way or is it backwards?
So that's the whole rule book.
Yeah. By the way, yeah, this is the whole rule book. And it's fascinating. I have them from every year. I had this one's from whatever this year is.
You are a true basketball historian, Coach Nick.
Yeah, this is from 1936, and then I have them every decade. And I'm like, where is this rule that demands you have to have the hand on top of the ball? Guess what? There was no rule. So then you have referees for decades and decades calling erroneously carries, and then it forces the players to have to adjust to some way that's not in the rules. And so when you finally look at the rules and say, wait a minute, then you probably even go to the referee before the game and say, look, I can have my hand on the side of the ball as long as the ball doesn't pause. You can't call that. And they're like, oh, so that's kind of like what the Iverson thing finally did, right? Finally, they realized maybe in their desire not to blow the whistle every time, but they also said, well, you know what? Like, it's not really a travel because the ball doesn't pause and the hand's not underneath the ball. And so I think that applies to a couple other places too, in terms of what they were calling in terms of steps and that stuff. So in reality, what they're calling today is probably the most accurate version of the rules, not what everyone is pining for from back in the day. So that's the weird thing about it all. It's like they were cheering on a game that shouldn't have existed.
Yeah. I can't believe that you have that rule book.
Oh, it keeps going. Look, I posted I had AI try and do a picture where they all were fanned out in a nice, neat way because I couldn't get it. And it ended up looking like slop, like with weird rules. But look, this is this forward or backwards for you?
Forward, regular.
You can read it? Okay, good. It's backwards to me. All right. So but by the way,
what was the year that dribbling was implemented into basketball?
Well, they're talking about dribbling in 1928 and 29. So it was right before that. It was, I want to say it could have actually been 18, 20, 19, 18, 19, 19, around there. I know it was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I used to have this like wrote, but I believe it was Yale. It was like ultimate Frisbee back then where you couldn't move with the ball.
You think a league like that would be good? Like you think they could make an entertaining league?
I don't know, maybe, because I love ultimate Frisbee now. I had never seen a game until recently, and my daughter's boyfriend is on the national champion ultimate Frisbee D3, and he's the captain. What's up, cool. Chuck? I watched the game and I was enthralled. I had never seen one. It was amazing. And yeah, they can't run with it. But what Yale started to do was they caught the ball. They couldn't move. They would kind of like pass it and then run after it and pick it up, and then pass it and run after it and pick it up. That was sort of a loophole. And then finally they said, well, what if I kind of tap it? And then that's how the dribble started. And that was, I think, in the late teens, or like right before 1920. And then by 28, 29, they're already talking about the rules now. How
they probably changed the basketball so it dribbles better. I'm sure
right.
They did all that. Yeah.
Right. Well, because remember, there was a seam on the basketball like a football. And that obviously you bounce it on that part, who knows where it's going to go. So, yeah, they were able to create another a seamless basketball. All right, let's get to we have some more super chats here. So we have DJ. We have, let's see. Okay, the Drew show is back. Drew is always awesome with us, always doing multiple super chats. Really appreciate it. Finally, I'm always here coaching combo. I'm in. He is. I can vouch for you, Drew. Thank you so much. I love to see
Thanks, Drew. We appreciate you. You've been
and
around
then
for a
here's
while now.
Alan Tran, another best friend of the breakdown. Hey, Coach and Combo, been between Houston and Dallas. Which team is more desperate for point guard depth? Amen and Flag shouldn't be full-time point guards. Agree. Again, we get back to that traditional point guard argument, like, do you need one or whatever? But who is it? Who do you think needs it more?
Well, I like Amen right now as a point guard than Cooper right now as a point guard if we're just talking about this season.
Do I always screw up and say I say amen? It's amen. God damn it! Is it amen?
Yeah, I think it's amen. But
Amen.
Amen. But amen. But yeah, no, I think Amen is more ready right now than Cooper is at the point guard, even though they're both having their struggles. But Amen is like 17-7-7 right now, and they're 3-2. So
yeah, and certainly scoring is not the issue, right? I mean, but again, they played the Nets, they played whatever. It's like hard to know just yet.
I mean, you got Şengün and Durant with you, so your scoring should be good.
Yeah. And Şengün's by the way, another passer, a high post kind of guy.
Yeah, he's great.
Who I don't think is getting enough high post touches either. I got to go look through some more Rockets footage soon. But he's a guy who hasn't really uncorked some good passing this year yet, but I'm sure he'll get to that sooner than later. So anyway, but now the other thing in the background with the Mavericks is that Kyrie is going to come back at some point. So when that happens, and I don't think that Fred comes back this year, right? Is that right?
I don't think so. Right.
So that's the problem. So at the very least, Dallas will have who they need in that position.
Who they need. I mean, AD came into the season out of shape, and now he has an injury. Like, it seems like this year is not the year for them.
Right. By the way, up until that point, everyone's like, "Oh, you know what? Dallas, throw Kyrie out there. They're going to have something." And you never know. But I hear you. I don't know what AD's issue was or why that happened to him. But,
well, I think they thought the Cooper Flag experiment at PG would be a little more seamless than it has been.
Yeah, and it's rough. Rookie, played 1 year in college. That's tough. And that's why Amen, he's been in the league a few years, so it's like he's got a little bit of experience there.
And also in overtime elite, he played point guard. Obviously, the level is way different, but he did get some reps.
Yeah, I got to check. How is our friend Sheppard doing?
Go check.
Let's just see here. Let me look at the game logs real quick because I'm curious. Yeah, it's been a couple of minutes. I've been studying the Heat offense, so it's hard for me. I haven't been able to check the Rockets, but minutes are going down, and they were targeting him on defense. It was rough, and but he's scoring. He's doing okay there, and he's probably finding the right niche for him would be off the bench.
What's he averaging
in a game?
What's he averaging in how many minutes?
What's he averaging? Right now it is. He is at 21 minutes a game, 10 points, and 3 assists, and he's shooting 44% from 3, which is great to see because I wasn't convinced about that.
I tried to tell you, Coach Nick. I tried to tell you.
He can't hit anything else inside there. That's the problem. He's like below 32% from twos, and that's.
I mean, it's an encouraging start though, right?
But it's early. It's early. So if he's going to be that spot up guy, although I don't think he's a spot up guy. That's the thing for threes, but. If they can find a little bit more of that, then okay. But they got to figure out a way to scram him out of those positions so they don't target him like that.
He is on the perfect team if you're a guy that doesn't defend that well. I mean, he has defense all around him.
Yeah.
Yeah and no, because Şengün and KD aren't the greatest defenders at this point, but you got other guys who could really defend.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then they're also assets because if they need to find a point guard, they could probably, dangle a couple of those guys and trade them. So, Jabari Smith and Eason, those two guys, and maybe a pick, you could get a great point guard, I would think.
Yeah, I agree. You know who would be nice for them? Denny Advia.
But not as a point guard.
I know.
He's kind of doing it, but Advia's great. He's playing really well. So yeah, it's something. But I don't know if that's that's the guy they need like that.
Would you trade Amen for Denny if you were the Rockets?
Would I trade Amen for Denny? That's interesting. I don't think so. I love Amen. I would not trade him. I just think that his mindset is like, I like those guys that are mean. They're just mean. I mean,
Denny's tough.
I know, but he's not mean. I like mean. I like, Eason's mean.
Wait, you think Amen is mean? I don't look at him as mean.
I think he's mean. I think he wants to. He's not out there to be friends. He's mean. He wants to go through you, around you, whatever it takes.
It's like me as a debater. Maybe you could consider me mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, I have to go back and watch your 3-cone back and forth to figure it out. But no, I actually, if I recall correctly, you got some good reactions from people all watching. They were
Yeah,
behind you.
they're good teammates.
Yeah. So that's why I'm wondering how they all gang up on me. Should I be mean or should I be the elder
You
statesman?
better you better be stern. I'll tell you that because it's yeah, it gets going. Is a good way
Okay,
to put it.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna say that. Listen, you watch me on Twitter. It's like I can be really really patient, but if I got to mirror what's going
you definitely need some verbal dexterity, and you got to be concise at the same time. It's different. It's different.
all right, I will
It's
put it.
great. It's great. It's really fun though. You're gonna have a great time. Trust me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned for all of that. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? Yeah, Pabs SG is said Russell Westbrook fans versus Coach Nick. That probably should have been the one. But
Ooh.
can I be a hater in the main chair?
No, it hasn't. Well, it hasn't been like that.
See that leave it to me to be like, hey, let's rework this whole with all the rules of this thing because in my mind, I would be the guy trying to say why I don't think Russ is whatever, and then they'd be the
That's
one.
actually a good idea. I should bring that up to them, having like a hater in the as the one. That's interesting.
Yeah, because that would be interesting, and somehow we'll probably be able to fit Russ into the conversation anyway, right?
Yeah, you could find plenty of
Well, by the way, like
fans.
who's got who had a better prime, Kobe or Harden?
Harden.
Oh yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Harden's prime was crazy.
Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff I think we're going to talk about. So that's
I mean,
exciting.
he averaged 37 and he was one of the best passers in the
Yeah,
NBA.
well, Kobe averaged 37 too, but it's the passing and the threes. The passing the threes. Even though he didn't shoot great from three, his effective field goal percentage blew Kobe's out of the water, and then plus the passing and and you can't argue that during Kobe's time, his teammates were not great, and I don't think that Harden's teammates were great either during his prime. So that's an interesting thing. Yeah, I don't know what happened to your focus, but anyway, I think that means that your camera is tired and it's time to sign off. So awesome stuff, Combo. As always, I think we got this kind of platform working pretty well, and we'll go from there. But anything else you want to talk about for this coming up this week?
Combos Court, wherever you listen to podcasts. How about that?
Okay.
And then Coach Nick will be in New York. How about that?
That's right. So stay tuned for all of that. And don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel. We're a conversation. You in? Are you in, Combo?
Yes, sir.